America's political history is littered with powerful alliances, secret deals, and shadowy figures lurking just out of sight. But behind some of the nation's most pivotal decisions lies an unexpected force: organized crime. From the smoky back rooms of Chicago to the bustling streets of New York, mobsters, kingpins, and crime families have done more than merely cash in on the country's vices. They've shaped policies, influenced leaders, and even tipped the scales of justice. Join us as we dive into 7 compelling cases where the lines between lawmaking and lawbreaking blurred, revealing how cunning mobsters managed to infiltrate America's most powerful institutions. This isn't just about crime, it's about power, politics, and the true reach of the underworld in shaping our nation. The Prohibition era, the rise of the Mafia. The 1920s. Prohibition, ushered in by the 18th Amendment, intended to curb the nation's alcohol consumption, but instead gave rise to one of the most notorious and enduring chapters in American crime history, the Mafia. As the government banned the manufacture, sale, and transportation of alcohol, a void was created in the market that organized crime was all too eager to fill. With legal avenues for alcohol distribution closed, underground operations, known as bootlegging, became the lifeblood of the Mafia. These criminal syndicates quickly seized control of the illicit liquor trade, using their vast networks to smuggle alcohol across state lines and even from international sources. The demand for illegal alcohol was so immense that it turned bootlegging into a billion-dollar enterprise, fueling the rapid expansion of organized crime. Speakeasies, hidden bars where patrons could enjoy illegal drinks, flourished under Mafia control, further embedding these criminal organizations into the social fabric of the time. The rise of the Mafia during Prohibition also highlighted the deep-seated corruption within local governments and law enforcement. Mobsters like Al Capone became household names, not just for their ruthlessness, but for their ability to operate seemingly above the law. Capone, known as Scarface, ruled Chicago with an iron fist, making millions off the illegal alcohol trade while bribing politicians, police officers, and judges to turn a blind eye to his operations. The corruption was so pervasive that it compromised the very institutions meant to uphold justice, allowing organized crime to flourish unchecked. The influence of the Mafia extended beyond the criminal underworld, as their financial power enabled them to manipulate elections and shape local policies to their advantage. The Prohibition era, therefore, not only saw the rise of the Mafia as a formidable criminal force, but also exposed the vulnerabilities within American society, which allowed these syndicates to thrive and evolve into powerful entities that would continue to challenge law enforcement for decades to come. Tammany Hall and political corruption in New York City. Tammany Hall, the notorious political machine that dominated New York City politics for over a century, was a powerful organization that wielded immense influence over the city's government and elections. Originally founded as a social club in the late 18th century, Tammany Hall evolved into a political juggernaut by the 19th century, becoming synonymous with corruption, patronage, and backroom deals. The organization thrived by controlling votes, particularly among immigrant communities, in exchange for favors, jobs, and social services. This system of patronage allowed Tammany Hall to entrench itself deeply into the political fabric of New York City, making it nearly impossible for candidates to succeed without its blessing. However, the power of Tammany Hall extended far beyond just electoral politics. It became a central figure in the nexus of corruption that included the burgeoning world of organized crime. By the 1930s, the relationship between Tammany Hall leaders and organized crime figures had become a cornerstone of the machine's power. Mobsters, with their wealth and ability to intimidate, found willing partners in Tammany Hall's politicians who were eager to secure their own positions of influence. A prime example of this collusion is the case of Frank Costello, a powerful mobster known as the Prime Minister of the Underworld. Costello played a crucial role in bridging the gap between the criminal underworld and the political elite. He used his considerable wealth to influence Tammany Hall politicians, ensuring that his interests, and those of his criminal associates, were protected. Costello's influence reached into the highest echelons of New York City politics, where he managed to secure favorable treatment for the Mafia in exchange for financial support and the delivery of votes. The relationship between Costello and Tammany Hall epitomized the dark underbelly of New York City's political landscape, where power, money, and crime intertwined in a complex web of corruption that would ultimately contribute to the downfall of both the machine and the unchecked power of the Mafia. The Chicago Outfit and Mayor Richard J. Daley. The Chicago Outfit, one of the most powerful and influential organized crime syndicates in American history, rose to prominence during the Prohibition era and continued to exert significant control over the city for decades. Initially led by the infamous Al Capone, the outfit was not just a criminal organization, but a highly structured enterprise that controlled a vast array of illegal activities, including bootlegging, gambling, loan sharking, and later, labor racketeering. Unlike other mafia families, the Chicago outfit maintained a more centralized power structure, with its leaders wielding considerable influence over both the underworld and the legitimate business sectors. Over time, the outfit became deeply embedded in Chicago's social and political fabric, forging alliances that would protect its interests and ensure its longevity well beyond the Prohibition years. One of the most notable and controversial relationships that the Chicago outfit cultivated was with Mayor Richard J. Daley, who served as the city's mayor from 1955 to 1976. Daley, often referred to as the Boss, was a dominant figure in Chicago politics, known for his iron-fisted control over the city's democratic machine. While Daley publicly maintained a stance of law and order, rumors and allegations of his connections to organized crime persisted throughout his tenure. The Chicago outfit allegedly had a hand in Daley's rise to power, providing the crucial support needed to secure his position as mayor. In return, the outfit was believed to have received protection from law enforcement crackdowns and favorable treatment in business dealings. This symbiotic relationship between Daley and the outfit had a profound impact on Chicago's political landscape as it blurred the lines between legitimate governance and criminal enterprise. The perceived untouchability of the outfit during Daley's administration fostered a climate of corruption and fear within the city, complicating efforts to combat organized crime and undermining public trust in the integrity of local government and law enforcement. The Kennedy family and alleged mob ties. The Kennedy family, one of the most prominent political dynasties in American history, has long been the subject of rumors and speculation regarding its alleged connections to organized crime. Central to these allegations is Joseph P. Kennedy, the patriarch of the Kennedy family, whose wealth and influence played a crucial role in the political careers of his sons, particularly John F. Kennedy. While much of the evidence remains circumstantial, many historians and biographers have explored the possibility that Joseph Kennedy's fortune, which significantly boosted his son's political ambitions, was partly built on his activities during the Prohibition era. It is widely rumored that Kennedy engaged in bootlegging, illegally smuggling and distributing alcohol during Prohibition, potentially forging connections with organized crime figures who controlled the lucrative black market. These alleged ties have fueled debates about the extent to which organized crime may have played a role in the Kennedys' rise to power. The most contentious speculations center on John F. Kennedy's election to the presidency in 1960 and his subsequent assassination in 1963. Some theories suggest that mobsters, who may have had a vested interest in seeing Kennedy elected, helped secure his victory through voter manipulation and other illicit means, particularly in key states like Illinois and West Virginia. The relationship between the Kennedys and the Mafia is further complicated by the actions of John's brother, Robert F. Kennedy, who, as Attorney General, aggressively pursued organized crime figures despite the alleged connections. This apparent betrayal has led some to speculate that the Mafia played a role in John F. Kennedy's assassination, viewing it as retribution for the Kennedys' crackdown on organized crime. While these claims remain unproven and continue to be the subject of intense debate among historians and conspiracy theorists alike, they have undeniably contributed to the enduring mystique and controversy surrounding the Kennedy family's legacy. Las Vegas, the Mafia's political playground. Las Vegas's transformation from a quiet desert town into a bustling gambling hub is a tale steeped in ambition, intrigue, and the undeniable influence of organized crime. In the 1940s, Las Vegas began to rise as a prime destination for legalized gambling, a move that attracted some of the most powerful figures in the criminal underworld. Central to this development was Benjamin Bugsy Siegel, a notorious mobster with a vision to turn Las Vegas into the entertainment capital of the world. Siegel, backed by the financial and strategic support of Meyer Lansky, another key mafia figure, poured millions into the development of the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, which would become the cornerstone of the city's burgeoning gambling industry. However, the true transformation of Las Vegas into a mafia stronghold extended beyond the glitz and glamour of the casino floors. It infiltrated the very fabric of the city's politics and law enforcement. During the 1940s through the 1960s, The Mafia's grip on Las Vegas was ironclad, with key figures like Siegel and Lansky forging deep connections within local politics. These mobsters didn't just build casinos, they built relationships with politicians, law enforcement, and even unions, ensuring that their operations could continue with minimal interference. Allegations of bribery, corruption, and backroom deals became synonymous with the city's rapid expansion, as officials who were supposed to regulate the industry often turned a blind eye to the illicit activities that funded it. The power dynamics in Las Vegas during this era were heavily influenced by these clandestine relationships, making it nearly impossible for law-abiding citizens to discern where legitimate business ended and criminal enterprise began. Despite numerous investigations over the years, the full extent of the Mafia's control over Las Vegas's political landscape remains shrouded in mystery, leaving behind a legacy of unanswered questions and unsolved crimes that continue to baffle historians and law enforcement alike. The Teamsters Union and Jimmy Hoffa. The International Brotherhood of Teamsters, commonly known as the Teamsters Union, rose to prominence as one of the most powerful labor unions in the United States, representing a wide range of workers, particularly those in transportation industries. By the mid-20th century, the Teamsters had grown into a formidable force with significant political and economic influence, making it an attractive target for organized crime. Under the leadership of Jimmy Hoffa, the union reached new heights of power and membership, but it also became entangled in a web of corruption, with allegations that Hoffa had forged close ties with the Mafia. Hoffa, a charismatic and relentless leader, was known for his ability to mobilize workers and negotiate contracts that greatly benefited union members. However, his methods and connections drew intense scrutiny, as rumors swirled that the Teamsters pension fund was being used to finance Mafia-controlled casinos, including those in Las Vegas. Jimmy Hoffa's influence extended far beyond the labor movement, reaching into the highest echelons of political power. He was a masterful negotiator, not just in labor disputes, but also in the complex world of politics, where he forged alliances that would protect and expand the Teamsters' influence. However, his alleged mob connections and defiance of the law made him a target for federal investigations. Hoffa's political clout and the shadow of organized crime over his operations made him both a powerful figure and a controversial one. The culmination of Hoffa's tumultuous career came with his mysterious disappearance in 1975, a case that has since become one of the most famous unsolved mysteries in American history. Despite extensive investigations, numerous theories, and countless manhunts, Hoffa's fate remains unknown. His disappearance continues to captivate the public imagination, symbolizing the murky intersection of labor unions, organized crime, and political power, leaving behind a legacy of intrigue and unanswered questions that still haunt investigators to this day. Operation Underworld. Operation Underworld was a covert initiative launched during World War II, representing one of the most unlikely alliances in American history, between the U.S. government and organized crime. As the war escalated, concerns grew over potential sabotage in key American ports, particularly in New York City, where fears of Nazi infiltration and espionage ran high. In a bid to secure the waterfront and protect vital shipping lanes, U.S. naval intelligence turned to the very figures who dominated the docks: the Mafia. This clandestine partnership saw the government enlist the help of notorious mobsters like Charles "Lucky" Luciano, one of the most powerful crime bosses of the era, who wielded considerable influence over the longshoremen's unions and the underworld that controlled them. Luciano, who was serving a lengthy prison sentence at the time, agreed to assist the government in exchange for a reduction in his sentence, setting the stage for a collaboration that would blur the lines between patriotism and criminality. The collaboration between the U.S. government and the Mafia during Operation Underworld had profound political and strategic implications. On one hand, it showcased the government's willingness to engage with unsavory characters for the greater good of national security. On the other, it highlighted the extent of organized crime's influence in critical sectors of the economy, particularly in areas as vital as port operations during wartime. The operation was shrouded in secrecy, and while it successfully mitigated the threat of sabotage, it also cemented the Mafia's power as they gained further leverage and legitimacy through their cooperation. The political ramifications were significant, as the government's deal with Luciano and other mob figures set a precedent for future interactions between law enforcement and organized crime, raising ethical questions that persist to this day. Despite its success in the context of the war, Operation Underworld remains a controversial chapter in American history, with many aspects of the operation still cloaked in mystery fueling speculation and intrigue among historians and true crime enthusiasts alike. From rigged elections to whispered promises, the fingerprints of organized crime have stained the pages of American history, leaving a legacy that's as shocking as it is enduring. As we peel back the layers of these 7 pivotal moments, one thing becomes clear. Organized crime didn't just operate in the shadows, it thrived in the very heart of the political landscape. The stories of these alliances serve as both a chilling reminder of the power wielded by crime syndicates and a cautionary tale of what happens when unchecked ambition meets political opportunity. In the end, these cases reveal that sometimes the greatest mysteries in American history aren't just about who committed the crimes, but who benefited from them.